Okay.
You can't have like imposter syndrome doesn't come as a creator.
Are you already recording it? Is that why? Oh, okay. What's up, y'all? Welcome to Monarch Madness. So first things first, I want to go ahead and just introduce the whole channel. This is a space where I want to talk to more creatives, people that are outputting their input into the world, and really just talk about faith, God, fashion, and all the above on this channel. But first things first, I want to introduce a really, really cool person. So we got Reward right behind me. Ooh, like introduce yourself, man.
What's up, bud? My name is Reward. I'm a content strategist. So that includes photography, short form videography, a little bit of graphic design, and just consulting with brands, studios, and other people on how to like build, create, and grow their like social media presence, create more content. I work at Digital Factory as a creator on staff and as a studio coverage intern. This is I started my own business in college. I'm doing, Visual Reward. Follow me on IG at Visual Reward. Visual_reward.
There you go.
Yeah, I've been doing this for about 3 to 4 years now.
That's cool. I didn't even know that. That's really dope. You being humble. You being humble. Cool. Honestly, this is like a really dope space, so I want to thank you for letting me, come down to Digital. Making sure, so y'all should come check out Digital because it's a dope space. But yeah, so like the main things that I wanted to talk about on this interview today was more so focused on obviously like what you're doing with like your passion. Also wanted to talk about like how your relationship with God has influenced that. And then if I do ask any questions that you don't want to talk about, you don't have to answer it. So you can be like, yeah, pass. Yeah. But cool. So I guess like the first thing is like, I know we already tapped in, but how long have you been doing photography for?
So I've been doing photography for about, like as a hobby? Hold on, let me count. It's not that long, so I'm not doing this to be arrogant. I just genuinely don't.
That's fair.
I've been doing the business that I started 3 years, going on 4.
Okay.
But as far as shooting, I started about my sophomore year.
Oh, okay.
Sophomore year in college. And I started out right after I stopped playing football. Kind of closed a chapter of my life that I dedicated a lot of my life to. Mm-hmm. And with all that free time, I kept asking myself what am I going to do with all this time? What am I going to fill something that was controlling every aspect of my life? And I found this, and it sounds corny, but like it's giving me definitely a different form of a drive. Like when it came to sports, it's very structured. You wake up, you eat right, you work out, you go to sleep. That's what you do, and you perform with that routine. With just having that same attitude and drive towards creating, you wake up, you think about what am I creating, what have I created, what do I have to edit, what do I have to do, what can I create if I'm put in a situation, and then you move based on what certain opportunities are given to you. And there's definitely an element of, with again, something as structured as sports, you can see immediate results based on what you're doing.
Right.
You don't always see the progress that you've made until you look back and you're like, oh, I was not shooting like this 2 years ago. I'm shooting like this now.
Right.
It takes a lot of patience. It really does.
Alright, so last thing that you was just talking about was how God kind of helped you out.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about imposter syndrome. So in the sense of what do you mean by imposter syndrome? How does that come into your creative?
Imposter syndrome is probably one of the biggest obstacles you'll have to overcome as a creator.
Okay.
Because there's definitely it comes up when you meet other creators. because one thing I love about doing this is that a lot of the times creators love giving out free game. Whether it's just like, oh, let me see your work, or oh, try this when you're editing, oh, try this when you're shooting. That's why I've sat in the studio and just watched people shoot and been like, oh, let me see your raw photos, like politely, don't be weird. And like you see people's progress and you compare yourself. It's human nature for us to be like, oh, that's not like mine, or oh, I'm not at that level. But the thing is, it's not about it's your own race. If there's a race at all, like your progress is your progress. Some people jump up within 6 months. Some people take years. Like for me, I would say my progress has been pretty steady. But I definitely, once I stopped comparing myself to other people, and I fell in love with just being creative, creating, just to put it out, even if one person likes it, and that person is me, I still put time and effort into this, and I think it's my best work. You can deal with imposter syndrome. Like, if people say like procrastination is a killer of dreams, procrastination is the killer of like your true and potential identity. Like, you can't let things and gifts that God has given you, or like doors that God has given you, and like refuse that opportunity because you're not mentally ready to accept that yet. God's put you in that place for a reason.
You think anybody's ever ready?
I mean, yeah, throughout history, biblical history, like, it's never somebody who's like, hey man, I'm 100% ready to sacrifice everything. It's like low-key, like, people were called when they were the least prepared to do like extraordinary things. Your progress comes when it's not gonna be like a montage with music in the background. It's gonna be you editing at 2 a.m. It's gonna be you editing at 2 a.m. and you're messing with lighting exposure sliders because you want to make sure that this person is lit to the best of their ability. Or you watching videos upon videos and making playlists and trying new things, or just saying, oh, I wonder if I could pull this off, or I wonder if I could set this up, or if I had a concept, what would I build it from? And being flexible on the fly. Like that's the instead of focusing on, oh, I'm not good enough, or I'm not at this level, like there's certain skills that you can create and like hone within yourself that can push you forward as a creator. It'll be A-okay.
Okay. How long have you like had a relationship with God? A lot of what you're saying is like you seem to have had a lot of experience to understand like where you are as a creator, how God is influencing you as a creator, but like where did that start? Like, did you always have a relationship with God?
So yeah, I was lucky enough to be raised within a household where like having a relationship with God was very like paramount and very much focused on. So
what did that look like for you?
It looked like before going to school, praying with my entire family.
Really?
And before we go to bed, praying with my entire family, like reading the Bible, even till now. Like when I was growing up, every day we would like before school, we're gonna get on up, we're gonna make sure everybody's getting what they need to do, and we're gonna go out. When we come home, we'll just come together at like 9 p.m. pray before we all go to sleep, like talk about what we have for the rest of the day and go to bed. Like even to this day, like my siblings that moved out, I'm still in college. Every Saturday, no matter where we are, we'll like hop on a family like call, and for an hour just pray, read, like if anybody had like a devotional that they felt was like willing to share, they'll share, and we'll just talk about what we got going on and pray for each other and leave. Just for an hour.
That's cool.
When I was going to school in New York, those Saturdays saved me. Like it was.
Yeah.
I'll be like, man, listen, man, I'm up in New York, I'm away from my family. Like those Saturdays kept me grounded and kept me like on the straight path and just not like fall apart when I was so far away from my family. So like having that relationship and having that structure like helped me translate that to different passions, whether it was football, photography, whatever.
Okay, so how do you think how do you think that foundation developed you as a man?
It definitely, it developed me as a man because I had plenty of examples of what a real man was in my life. So from my father, to my brother, to my cousins, to like mentors, older like friends, like I've had a lot of examples of like good, hardworking men within my life. So when you have all those influences, a lot of the times you're either gonna A, resist it and go the opposite way, or B, follow along because you see like, oh, this works.
Right.
And this works multiple ways, like different ways at different times. So I just follow along. And like having that environment of where it's less about like exerting dominance, but just handling your responsibilities and doing what you're supposed to do without nobody asking you to, is what I've like seen from the men in my life. So I try to like emulate that the best that I can.
I like that you said that. Cause like, for me, I feel like I've grown up in spaces where it's almost the opposite. Not that I didn't grow up with God, but I think it's more common for me to see families that don't do what your family does. Where a lot of times, like even like stereotypically, I feel like a lot of times we expect like the woman in the household to be the one who's supposed to pray for everybody, who's supposed to take care of everybody spiritually, like she's the spiritual head of the household. And then the man, it's almost like okay for him to not lead in faith. Like it's just like, oh, he'll find it on his own timing. So like when you say that it's less about dominance, like that kind of stood out to me a lot. What's something that you feel like, what's something that you feel would be like encouraging to somebody who comes from a background that's kind of opposite of yours?
I would say, like, you can be a product of your environment, but you can also like, you can still manipulate your space. I don't know how I folded those words together.
That was clean though.
That's what I'm sticking to. Still, I don't want to see this on Pinterest. But like, you can still manipulate your space. And what I mean by that is like, I've seen people who come from totally different backgrounds than me and still are in places that or places that I want to be. Spiritually, like mentally, financially, whatever. And the thing is, instead of me envying that person or hating on that person, I surround myself with those type of people. Of like people with like-minded drive, like-minded passion, like-minded faith, like-minded responsibilities. Like those guys, like the coworkers that I work with, like my older brother, I work with my older brother. Like I surround myself with his friends, or I'll hang out with him when he's just hanging out with his friends, and it's just like-minded people just working or talking about handling business or just, you feel me, standing on business, you feel me, like just people who are like goal-oriented and people who are big on support. Knowing that I feel like a lot of people think that there's only room for like one person to get all the shine.
To be successful.
There's a lot of shine.
Yeah.
We just hide from ourselves because everybody's trying to fight for that one thing. And I'm like, bro, you can literally
it's like
all of us up here.
Crabs in a barrel mentality.
Yeah, like everybody, there's enough shine for everybody.
I gotta win by myself.
Like, a lot of the times, like, your progress will be stunted by you not using the resources around you.
No, I don't believe that anybody can succeed alone.
Yeah,
to be honest, like everybody's success comes from having the right people around you. Like
somebody
you need
did something.
Right.
Somebody believed, somebody did something, somebody said something, somebody put that spark in you. Because a lot of times when you do it on your own, like you feel real jaded once you quote unquote make it by your own definition. Like,
I feel like naturally we want to share, but like it's easy to look around and be selfish at the same time.
Success is super boring.
It is. That's cool. That's cool. Well, I mean, I guess like one of my last things I do kind of want to ask: do you ever feel like you were called to photography?
I think, honestly, I wouldn't say like heaven split, like doves came down and like a camera floated.
You just woke up and was like, wow.
Looking back in my life, there's definitely points within my life where I've encountered photography, and I've always looked in a certain interest, but it wasn't until I got older where that interest kindly fully manifested into what this is.
That's fair.
So my dad was really into photography when I was a kid, and editing and creating videos, a lot of stuff that I do now. And I used to watch my dad or have my dad's equipment. I was my dad's equipment manager for a long, long time. Like setting up tripods, charging batteries, getting SD cards, all of that. So like when I got to college and I was like, all right, I'm done with this. And I was like, what if I started photography again? And I was just, boom, man. You feel me? Like for me, my success is 100% devoted to my dad. My dad gave me all the equipment that I use. I got from my dad. Like, I was blessed by my dad. So any photo I take, like that's credit gotta go to him because he's the first one that he literally put the camera in my hands.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay, cool. So what can we expect next from digital? I saw you on your social media. Y'all was posting some. I think it was a pop-up shop last time. You got merch. Like, what can we expect from digital?
What can you expect from digital? You can expect a lot more like clothes. You can expect more shoots, events. Just follow the page. Follow us at digital.merch. Follow us at Digital Factory. Follow me to get up anything that I'm going on. Like I'm posted. I did a shoot right before this interview with your lovely host here. Those stills and BTS are coming out very soon.
Yeah. They're fly.
So like, just be on the lookout. A lot of stuff is going to drop.
Okay.
And, keep watching.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a blessed night and stay real.